Hi, my name is Bhavnoor Bedi.
I am Jitinder Bedi.
I am Mohit Chawla, Principal and Co-founder 23DC Architects.
Hi, I am Shiv Dada, Principal and Co-founder at 23DC Architects.
And we are
Team
Ameeras. I am the senior most member of the team Ameeras, and I have zeal and passion for development of residential colonies, and I had a dream that I should develop a colony which should be a dream colony. We should be very near to the human nature, human mind, and the natural aspect of human beings. And that is why we have all come together to develop this colony. And in this colony, the special features of this colony are that most of the area reserved for our forest area, where birds can chirp, where we can see and listen the drops of the rain, and where our children used to play and time we used to play and our children used to play, and my son, my daughter used to play fearlessly without any fear.
You know, the plan was when we started thinking about developing a luxurious high-end real estate project. Now, everyone talks about or everyone claims ultra-luxury projects. I don't want to sound arrogant, but if you want to buy a plot in an ultra-luxury residential community, you have to understand who the promoters are, who the architects are. Luxury is all about taste. You know, somebody who's not lived that luxury would not be able to deliver an ultra-luxurious project. So with that vision in mind, you know, when we had that vision in our mind, we started thinking and discussing, you know, who should be the part of our team, who should be able to implement the ideas that we had. And the first name that came into my mind was DC23, Shiv Dada, Mohit Chawla. In fact, these guys did our house as well in the year 2016. So when I discussed the idea with them, you know, rest is history. So Mohit, Shiv, thank you for being part of this wonderful vision of ours. Thank you for being part of this.
And their main aim is quality, and their main aim is luxury, their main aim is ambience, their main aim is nature, and above all, their main theme is prone to and applying Vastu in everything, whatever they do. Vastu is a combination of nature and various factors of the nature. Mr. Shiv?
Well, thank you so much, Uncle. Those were very high words. He's always very modest, he's always very honest, and he's always very straightforward when it comes to criticizing as well as acknowledging somebody's qualities. Well, again, I would like to thank you, both of you.
Yeah.
It was a blessing in disguise. It was more like a friend reaching out, you know, to collaborate together on working on a dream project. It's not a project for us. It's an extension of our studio. It's an extension of our office. It's an extension of love and like-mindedness that all of us together share on this table. Yeah. I think it really happens that, you know, a client would give you an empty canvas. As a painter, all you need is to, you know, have an empty canvas where you can paint with utmost liberty, and the term budget is not involved. Well, most of the architects and, you know, the consultants would agree with me, and some part of the audience also. When it comes to a luxury project, budget is something which most of the developers and builders would really press upon on the starting of the meeting. What I loved about the first meeting that we had with the both of them is that budget was not at all discussed. I think all that we discussed in the couple of hours of our first meeting, if you remember, Bhavnu sir, it was all about quality. It was all about delivering to the end customer. Yeah. It was all about delivering the life quality, the security of children, you know, the essence of having greenery, the essence of having nature inside the living society.
Absolutely.
So I think Bhavnoor had a very good idea about developing this colony which had all that green features which we see all around the world. So he came with an idea to us regarding developing a place which is very close to the nature, with the envision that the people around the city should not have seen such a place which is being built at such a, you know, modest price, I can say.
No, absolutely. See, that was the whole idea. We've traveled, all of us, we've traveled the world. we've seen gated communities, we've seen cities, countries, we've seen architecture of different sorts. And that's what we wanted to bring at one common place. And that was the dream, you know, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਵੀ ਰਹਿ ਸਕੀਏ, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਖੇਡ ਸਕਣ. And that's what, you know, I remember when we were talking, that's what I was emphasizing time and again, that I would want my children to play the way I used to play.
And I think all of us were on the same page. I think every one of us was
Babu
struggling.
was very clear with the one vision that I want to develop a, you know, kind of living which is much more on the international standards.
Yeah.
Like you see standards in Dubai, you see standards in Canada, America.
Yeah, I think the first chapter that we covered today in this conversation was more towards an emotional, direction.
Direction.
The second chapter, when we actually, started doing the economics of it. Before that, I still remember we talked about Beverly Hills.
Yeah.
We talked about Lake Como. We talked about Dubai Hills. We talked about so many different iconic projects. How can we bring the essence of all of these worldwide townships to the city like Jalandhar? That's what we talked about.
No, absolutely. And I think we all have done a great job in implementing the vision that we've seen. Is to experience real luxury, to experience, peace of mind. You'll have to come and visit Ameera's mansions once, so that you can understand that what we are building in this city.
ਹੁਣੇ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਮਿਸਟਰ ਸ਼ਿਵ ਨੇ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ ਬੈਵਰਲੀ ਹਿਲਸ ਦੀ ਤੇ ਬਾਹਰ ਫੋਰਨ ਵਰਡਸ ਦੀ, ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਵਧੀਆ ਵਧੀਆ ਚੀਜ਼ਾਂ ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆਉਣੀਆਂ. I think we can summarize it into two words: ambience and nature. And these two things are in ample, they are in abundance rather, you can say. There you can see here, and they are shown here, nature and ambience.
True, I think we really emphasized upon personal living. If I were the one living in this colony, and if I were the one owning one of the plots there, what would I require to lead a healthy and a beautiful life? First of all, I would not appreciate going to my balcony and having a look at somebody else who is right in front of me. So if I'm not wrong, we have really tried to develop the colony in such a way where each and every house faces the green zone.
Absolutely. Very minutely, I think we've worked together on creating a plan wherein people would, when they'll open up their windows and their doors, it is facing the green zones, not facing concrete structures. And there are not just roads, they are very wide roads where people can walk. There are tracks where people can run. There are parks where people can do yoga. There are parks where people can exercise. There are parks where people can bring their families together, do barbecues together, hang out in those places together. There would be times when people would all sit in amphitheaters that are developed in a central park and watch movies together.
I think in today's world, it's a pity that I don't know why most of the developers would just develop colonies just for the sake of it. They develop, they sell, and go on to the next one.
And we are staying here.
And
you are
first of all,
our house as well.
First of all, of course, we are designing your own house there, and your close friends. But what I was trying to point out here is that most of the colonies would just give the landscape area just to show it on the map. All right, and by the end of the day, you'll see some kind of stupid market coming up on that green zone. I mean, I've seen all kinds of things happening.
Also, there are things like people develop the landscape in a way that this is a plain grass. So the idea was to develop different spaces for different type of people, different type of age groups. Was I think one of the best ideas.
I think we basically designed the whole colony around that forest.
Around that forest.
So
and that is going to replicate. As we move forward, move further, expand further. In next phases, you will see we replicate the same forest in every phase that we move.
And special areas for kids, the elderly, and the special areas for young couples, special areas for teenagers,
and
special
for
sports
dog
grounds,
lovers. And for dog lovers. I truly believe that true luxury respects nature. So Mohit and Shiv, sustainability ke liye, what is the plan? I would really want you to discuss, how have we planned to be more sustainable at Ameera's?
So firstly, we have developed a rainwater harvesting system at such a massive level, which is the water is going to be used for, all the landscape zones, or everything like as a part of fire protection unit.
Yeah.
And also it is going to be used as a, we can treat that water and use that water in terms of washing the roads.
Yeah.
Yes.
I think there's been a lot of debate all around the world when it comes to sustainability. What is the actual meaning of sustainability?
Yeah.
If you look at old Indian temples, temples which age back to thousands of years, or if you look at European buildings which are made out of stone, there's been a lot of debate about this, but they say that those are the buildings which are really sustainable at the actual level, at the core level. Why? Because you don't need to paint them, you don't need to maintain them, and they lie as it is.
Yeah.
So we've tried to use as much as natural materials on the site as possible. For example, you would not find any man-made tiles or stuff like that, especially when it comes to core site development.
That is correct.
Each and everything, even for the roads, I mean, majorly, as you know, we're using solid stone cobbles and all. So, I mean, we're trying to involve and we're trying to nurture nature everywhere, in every corner of the project. Right.
Mr. Shiv ne gal ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ nature ਬਾਰੇ, ਤੇ I remember in my own life, we never heard about loss of vitamin D or shortness of vitamin D. They used to come automatically from the rays of the sun in which we used to live, in which we used to walk, in which we used to sleep sometime even in the sun. And in this colony, we are providing everything that is in the lap of the nature. You are not sitting anywhere, you are not sitting in colony, you are not sitting in a Ameera mansion, you are sitting in the lap of nature.
Right. Yeah, that is true.
Sunlight and ventilation, as simple as that. That was the basic criteria while doing the plotting of Ameera's. We wanted at the core level, the orientation of the houses, the way the houses have been plotted, the entire facing and orientation of the houses should be in a way where they receive ample of sunlight and natural ventilation.
ਜਿਹੜੀ ਹੁਣੇ ਅਸੀਂ ਪਲਾਂਟਸ ਦੀ ਗੱਲ ਕੀਤੀ ਹੈ, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ 3 ਏਕੜ ਦਾ ਅਪਰੋਕਸੀਮੇਟ 3 ਏਕੜ ਦਾ ਅਸੀਂ ਏਰੀਆ ਰੱਖਿਆ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ, where there will be total greenery, total plants, total grass, and that will bring temperature of the area lower than the prevalent temperature around it.
And that's what we were discussing when we met our landscapers. He said, ਤੁਸੀਂ claim ਕਰ ਸਕਦੇ ਹੋ ਕਿ Ameera's mentions which temperature 10 degree cooler ਹੋਏਗਾ than rest of the city. And I said, are you sure when you're making a claim, you'll have to actually deliver? He said, you remember what he said?
I remember.
He said, Bhavnur sir, I promise the way I'm planting, the way I'm designing the entire landscaping, ਜਿਹੜੇ ਮੈਂ trees, plants ਲੈ ਕੇ ਆ ਰਹੇ हैं, I can assure you that the temperature at Ameera's will be at least 3 to 5 degrees cooler than the rest of the city.
And that's a big thing.
And then now we see that coming to life. Yeah. Right? That's what
and
we
moreover, he told us all the plants will be sustainable, evergreen, and
absolutely.
they won't require so much of water, and they won't disturb water table.
Yeah. In fact, while designing the project, I was very happy and delighted to hear that the project theme is based on the 5 senses. Right, like sense of touch, हर चीज़ उस तरीके नाल बनाई गई है. We've developed water bodies. We've developed water bodies, and they are not just one. There are a couple of very beautiful flowing water bodies wherein people can actually experience what these water bodies are. Even
on elaborating on what you just said, even the entrance of the project, I mean, that's the signature. That's something which you come across while passing by, or when you enter inside the grand the colony that we're developing. It's made out of rock.
It's made of rock, absolutely.
And that was the introduction that we wanted to give to the project. That you're not basically just walking through a typical cliche modern building and a concrete jungle. It should feel as if you're just undergoing a beautiful rock.
And then again, how can we not discuss about the core problem right now in our society, which is safety and security? We would usually see, in every project that there are, guards and then there are gates. But we've gone beyond guards and gates, right? We understand that, these days, what guards and gates can't do, AI can, artificial intelligence can.
So me and Bhavnur were into very long discussion how to, integrate all these security measures in our, society, in our concerned place, so that there should be no mishappening
I think people should feel safe by the end of the day.
No,
As if-
absolutely. And I remember Mohit giving me a number of a company which was started by IITians, and I said, Mohit, बहुत महंगे तो नहीं होंगे, you know. But then when we started speaking to them, when we started understanding the concept,
Yeah.
कि guard और gate आपको secure नहीं कर सकते. If there are cameras that are driven by AI,
Yeah.
which can instruct the guards to go and check those areas where there are,
Yeah.
you know, intrusions. That can help, that can really help you and us to provide that safety and security we are all looking at. And then when we spoke to those teams at IIT who are delivering high-end projects in Mumbai, in Delhi, you know, we were actually convinced that we have to bring them to our city, right?
Yeah.
AI is going to protect, artificial intelligence is going to protect your family, is going to watch out for your family, for your kids. ਐਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗਾ ਕਿ ਤੁਹਾਡੇ ਬੱਚੇ ਪਾਰਕ 'ਚ ਖੇਡਦੇ ਪਏ ਹੈ ਤੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਸੋਚ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ ਕਿ ਬਾਹਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ 2 4 5 ਗਾਰਡ ਖੜੇ ਹੈ ਦੇ ਵਿਲ ਟੇਕ ਕੇਅਰ ਆਫ ਐਵਰੀਥਿੰਗ ਐਂਡ ਐਵਰੀ ਹੁਕ ਐਂਡ ਕਾਰਨਰ ਆਫ ਦ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ there would be cameras, AI driven, AI powered cameras that will be watching the movement of your children. In fact, to an extent, any outsider that would come in, that camera would scan whether it's an existing resident or it's a new resident, and then you know, the message will go to the resident that there is a newcomer wanting to enter into your society who's naming that you've been called by himself.
Also, I'll add one more thing in this context. We are going to add lately the robo dogs, which are going to take care of our society during night time. So we are not dependent on a human who can literally sleep in the night, or he's tired and he's roaming here and there.
It's reality.
I think
Oh,
it's a reality.
No, so I think you'll have to understand what we are trying to bring on the table here. The product that we are creating, the colony that we are developing is not just a place wherein as a developer we came in, we built something, we sold everything and then we went away. We are here to stay. We are here to maintain. In fact, after 5 years, one of the residents asked me that, sir, 5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਤੱਕ ਤਾਂ ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹੋ, 5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਕੀ? ਮੈਂ ਕਿਹਾ 5 ਸਾਲਾਂ ਬਾਅਦ ਵੀ ਆਪਾਂ ਹੀ ਮੇਨਟੇਨ ਕਰਾਂਗੇ, ਬਿਕੋਜ਼ ਜਿਸ ਪੈਸ਼ਨ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਆਪਾਂ ਡਿਵੈਲਪ ਕਰ ਰਹੇ ਹਾਂ, ਜਿਸ ਸੋਚ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਆਪਾਂ ਇਹ ਪ੍ਰੋਜੈਕਟ ਸ਼ੁਰੂ ਕੀਤਾ ਹੈ, ਉਹ ਆਪਾਂ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਛੱਡਾਂਗੇ. After 5 years, usually you'll see developers handing it over to the societies. Of course, if we feel the society is competent enough to take charge of our dream project, we would, but if they're not, we will continue. And we have to remember that we're building our own home here.
Yeah, exactly. He's right. Just as my friend just said, that we'll be introducing the modern, ultra-modern technology, AI technology, and all the modern days technology in this colony. And I would say that it will be blend of nature with ultra-modernity when they live here.
And I hope you remember the dialogue then when we first met. I said, Ameera's is not for everybody.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Ameera's is not for everybody. Ameera's is for those select few that really want to enjoy stay in the lap of nature and really want to enjoy luxury, really want to feel luxury.
Yeah.
So design is a key component to build a project in the field of real estate. Our commercial and the front gate has been one of the key salient features for the entire community. Not everybody would be allowed to enter into Ameera's for security reasons, but everybody would be able to see, witness the commercial spaces, the front gate and the designs and the facades that we've created. So, how did you plan and design the commercial and the front area for Ameera's? What came into your mind? What was the thought behind it?
So we were very clear on the very first day that we are not here to develop something which is readily available in town.
Yeah.
We don't want to create that cliche, what we called a classical facade which you can see all around the city.
Yeah.
For us, I think the main point was minimalism.
Yeah.
Less is more.
Yeah.
Less is more.
We speak together on that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Less is more.
So the idea was to develop such a commercial space or such a facade which don't overpower the nature or the people living inside.
And which, becomes more beautiful with time, just like fine wine. It becomes more beautiful as the day goes by. So it's very
It
minimalistic.
should age like a fine wine.
Exactly. So it doesn't overpower the surroundings.
Yeah.
And also, if all of us remember, we really emphasized upon the kind of experience that the people would get when they are there and they are at a particular restaurant in a
Yeah.
commercial,
Yeah.
and they have the access to sit outside with due safety.
Yeah.
You know, right, being on the road, but at the same time a little camouflaged
Complete
from
European
it,
experience.
just like
with the, you
just
know,
like a European town. They can just sit out, have a good time, have their meal. You know, it's like an indoor-outdoor experience.
No,
You're not stuck to a particular SEO.
No, absolutely. I think that's what the plan was, to build the commercial in a way so that it gives you that European feel that you're walking on any road of a beautiful city in Europe. And then on commercial, how can I not discuss what we are bringing in commercial? I'll not take the names, but then, you know, I can tell you we've signed some super premium luxurious restaurants that the city has been wishing for, but you know they were not there. जो अपा चंडीगढ़, दिल्ली, metro cities which restaurants देखते हैं, जो clubs देखते हैं, जो breweries देखते हैं, you know, we've been successful in convincing them to come to our city, and believe me, you know, your job has done, you know, a great work, because when they saw those commercial designs, when they saw those minimalistic, beautiful designs, they were in awe, and they said, we definitely like to probably come and start. So we're bringing in, stay tuned guys, we're bringing in some amazing restaurants, some amazing clubs, some amazing breweries, and they'll be all top end.
We always discuss everything in context to, you know, design. There is no, there is no second thing which we, you know, comes under the financials or the developer part. It always comes under the context of design.
Yeah.
So we are very particular about that.
Yeah, design and ambience.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's part of the main thing.
So luxury is not just about appearances. So Mohit and Shiv, how did you guys balance luxury with functionality?
I think in context to design, whatever international standards you see around the world, especially able people can, you know, walk down to their home. Kids have a special walking area. There's no inter relationship between the pedestrians and the, you know, driveways, vehicular. I think we have followed that thoroughly into our design.
Wide roads, even though we are not building, guys, we're not building now, we're not building in future in Ameera's mentions, you know, tall buildings. We're not building apartment buildings. That's my promise and commitment to all the future residents of Ameera's mentions. ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਫਲੈਟ ਨਹੀਂ ਪਾਣੇ, ਇੱਥੇ ਆਪਾਂ ਕੋਈ ਹਾਈ ਰਾਈਜ਼ ਬਿਲਡਿੰਗਸ ਨਹੀਂ ਖੜੀ ਕਰਨੀਆਂ। ਇੱਥੇ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸਟਾਰਟਿੰਗ ਸਾਈਜ਼ ਹੈ ਉਹ 500 ਸਕੁਅਰ ਯਾਰਡਸ 20 ਮਰਲੇ ਤੋਂ ਸਟਾਰਟ ਹੋਏਗਾ, ਇਹ ਤੋਂ ਘੱਟ ਦਾ ਸਾਈਜ਼ ਵੀ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏਗਾ। You know, so but still considering that it's a 100-acre project and the number of plots would still be a very less number, the roads have still been kept in mind as if pata nahi appa itho kinne gaddiyan nikalniyan hai.
So the zoning of the project is planned in a way, the zoning of a house is planned in a way that no two houses are, you know, joined together, so they'll have complete freedom of, you know, light and ventilation, no dependency on their neighbor.
And then when the building is independent, you know, you're not touching the other's building. It becomes all the more easier to maintain your property and also to do the due maintenance.
People usually in these kind of gated communities often look for some sort of amenities. We are building, as I've told you, the average plot size is 700 square yards and goes up to 1000 square yards. So we've not focused on building a central community area because these are big houses, but what we are bringing to our city is a super luxurious sports facilities. When I say luxurious, it is not a high-end luxurious, but when I say luxurious, you would have all the sports that you've seen people play in bigger cities or outside India. So maybe let's quickly understand our sports stadium or a sports school that we are trying to bring in here, and what good would that be for the residents of our city.
So I think Bhavnoor and me and Shiv all were currently aligned into one thing, that if the colony has to be 100 acres, there has to be special place for kids to, you know, play. The idea to develop a sports stadium which is going to have lot of stadium, like lot of courts, tennis courts, pickleball courts, cricket courts.
All the sports facilities under one roof.
Yes.
Exactly,
All
and
the
I think
sports.
it's not about just pasting money on walls. It's not about just luxury. Is not defined by putting expensive materials here and there. It's all about giving the right facilities. That's what we
that is-
focused
In
on.
a way, all my friends, they are right. Nowadays generation of young people, they are very fitness freak.
Yeah.
So we have kept area for the jogging area, for the park meant for the fitness freak people who have various games to play.
So, wherever we've gone, wherever we've seen, what we've seen is that usually every city nowadays is now divided in two parts. One is the old town, ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਆਪਾਂ downtown ਵੀ ਕਹਿੰਦੇ, and then one is a new town. ਔਰ ਜਲੰਧਰ ਵੀ ਹੁਣ ਜਲੰਧਰ downtown ਔਰ ਜਲੰਧਰ new town ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ divide ਹੋ ਚੁੱਕਾ ਹੋਇਆ ਹੈ. 66 feet road, that place that where we are actually is a new town, ਜਿੱਥੇ ਬਹੁਤ ਹੀ ਅੱਛੀ development ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ, planned development ਆ ਰਹੀ ਹੈ. So expressways they around ਸਾਰੇ ਸ਼ਹਿਰ develop ਹੁੰਦੇ ਹੈ, and if you would have probably read in the news or seen in the newspapers that Jalandhar Jammu Katara highway ਜਿਹੜਾ ਹੈਗਾ, that is to the proximity of the project, right?
So that makes us nearest basically to that expressway.
I
And cities
think-
are developing around these great expressways. Yeah.
In coming times, if you see how the big countries like China and Europe has developed themselves, so they were, always there was a downtown and there was a new town.
Yeah.
So
Old and new town.
we are on the entrance point of Jalandhar, the new town.
Absolutely. People will enter through the new town, and we'll be the first ones to welcome all the residents of the city.
Yeah.
I think Bhavnurji, इसमें the context is not only about real estate development. Real estate takes 10 to 15 years of horizon.
Yeah.
So people should know whatever they are going to, buy now, they are going to enjoy it for next 50 years.
Next 50 years. Absolutely.
That's one, and I think there's another perspective to it.
Yeah.
People don't realize, by the time things have actually been built, nobody, I mean, no one, even
We
us
visualize.
also, until or unless we saw the whole expressway getting developed, nobody would believe, okay, such, an expressway is coming on such a scale.
Absolutely.
And now finally, when it's going to be completely built in the coming year or so, it would be a great surprise to the entire audience that we are so close. It's right in the proximity of that expressway.
Also,
Yes.
Bhavnurji,
Highway.
you will be surprised to know one thing, that along with the expressways, government is planning to build fast express trains.
Express
So
trains.
Jalandhar is going to get its first bullet train station like in 2036. So
Uh-huh.
it will be very near to our colony.
I know. They've already started acquiring and marking lands near to our project.
Yeah, he's
so
right.
we're pretty excited that
So there are
you know,
positive
the ring
whispers
road,
on
the express highways, all those great things are coming near to our project, which will make life more easier for the residents staying at Ameera's Mansions. So guys, if we are to describe this beautiful Ameera's Mansions project in one word, what would that be? Let's start with you, Shiv.
I think for me, it would be timeless grandeur.
Amazing. Mohit?
For me, it would be serenity.
Serenity, absolutely right.
For me, it would be nature in abundance.
So let me conclude by saying Ameera's Mansions for a fortunate few.
Yeah.